Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today's video I'm going to be talking about Project Rise. A lot of news has come out over the past couple months that I haven't actually covered on this channel, just shown some gameplay, but I'm definitely going to show you guys the Discord. They've announced a lot of stuff. Surprisingly, I mean, to think that it was an early access, really just pre-alpha, the earliest stage of the game, and we're already getting so much information. So the first thing is they made an interview on at the end of June or July, um, which I watched a little bit ago, and some of the main takeaways. Well, they talked about perks, which was my biggest problem with the game, in that it disrupted the flow of every match, in that you had to wait for all of your opponents to choose first, and sometimes people just took like 15 seconds, and you couldn't do anything, and it happens multiple times in the middle of a game. So I'm glad they're changing that. It's going to be asynchronous. It's going to be each player does it on their own, and they don't have to wait for anyone anymore, which is amazing. The second thing is the story, which they go into more detail about. They don't talk about it that much, but it is the fact that there's going to be a story. And so I'll just let a clip play real quick.
I mean, there's also like the fact that like the tower has been introduced, and it is this mysterious place as to like why this exists, what is this location, when this was built, by whom, and there's a lot of like narrative opportunities there to like kind of slowly roll out the story that we are envisioned, and kind of like almost like with each update to have like a little hints on Easter eggs and stuff like that to kind of like tell the story. And that would be also one of the first games that would do such a thing to kind of like keep the story going together with the players and kind of like give some hints and like kind of evolve things slowly over time. So that is also very fascinating to me, like having that kind of ability to kind of think about it.
And the next thing is they said there is very likely going to be PvP at some point in the game. It's just not going to be their main focus, which I thought was very interesting. I never even thought about PvP being a thing, but they were kind of talking about it. And a lot of players didn't really leave feedback saying that they needed PvP or anything. People seem to be very happy with the game itself and just the tower dungeon crawling PvE aspect of the game, which is what they're going for mainly, and I think it's great as well. But the fact that PvP is very much a possibility is really nice. And the last thing is game versions. They talked about pre-alpha and how it's obviously the early stage of the game and there's going to be a lot of bugs and stuff, but honestly really surprised with how fluid it was and how playable it was for being the earliest playable game part of the game. And they talked about how moving into alpha, not pre-alpha, but moving into alpha, it's going to be about validating the meta game and getting ready for production. So things are going to be picking up a lot, probably in the next year or so, half year, I'm guessing. That's just a guess. But alpha is going to be picking things up a lot. And then after that will be beta, and it'll be about a 2-week test. And we'll have a lot, be much more complete of a game, obviously. And really, when we see the beta, we'll be seeing really what the game will look like. I think that it's going to be a lot different than what we've seen so far. It's just kind of what we've had to go with is the main core gameplay. And I think that very possibly the graphics are going to change a lot. A lot of enemies could change, a lot of stuff like that. But very much looking forward to that. Those were all the main things in the interview. So then they announced the Hog Rider. Alright, I had to record this separately because the volume was way too high. But here it is, the Hog Rider. And yeah, so very early in development here. I think they did show him in the pre-alpha in like a character screen, but he wasn't actually playable yet. So this is the first actual gameplay we've seen of him. And yeah, jumps over walls is probably the fastest character in the game. I think that pretty much is not a surprise to anyone. Yeah, it's very early in access, but it's looking really good. Very excited for this character. Coming soon, but not too soon. And then they revealed the Countess, which I thought was very interesting, partly because I just had no idea who the Countess was, because I did not really play Clash Mini, which is where she's coming from. But looks like a very interesting character design. Looks really cool. So I don't think they've actually chosen which one they're going to go with yet, but they have a lot of different things to choose from. They all look good, in my opinion. And then they had a poll for heroes that people want in the game. They kind of just listed them in terms of they're going to do all of them, I'm thinking, it looks like. But they wanted people to rank them in terms of which ones they should work on first bringing into the game. So out of these 6, the most popular one was P.E.K.K.A, then Skeleton King, then Headhunter, then Royal Cook, Battle Healer, and lastly, the least popular is Goblin Brawler. And they had some honorable mentions: Wizard, Witch, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Monk, and Bandit. I think it's very interesting to have Monk in there. I guess they do have Skeleton King as well, so 2 champions from Clash Royale, from what I'm seeing. And the next thing, which, I mean, looks so clean already, is the lobby, or like the UI. I guess this is just the menu in general, which is looking really good. We got the perks there. I don't know if you could see perks before in the menu, but they have that. And they're talking about the perks being asynchronous now, which is really nice. You won't have to wait on anyone. They updated the look, it looks like. And yeah, here's the menu in terms of like they're adding a party feature so you can invite your friends, which was not in the pre-alpha. So yeah, I don't even know, there wasn't really a menu before. It was kind of just, they had that, you just played the game and there wasn't anything else to it. So they're already picking things up. It's already looking so good. Alright, and the same thing happened here, but the audio kind of just was way too high and you could not hear my voice. But here is the Valkyrie. So her attacks are definitely, if you look closely, you can tell that there's just more of an effect to it. It's definitely, you can tell how she kind of like stops a split second between her attacks. Like it's very like a millisecond. Like it just kind of brings more of an effect to it. So right there, if you look closely, you should be able to tell. Yeah, it kind of like stops in midair for like, it's the smallest amount of time ever, but it just brings more of an effect to me. I think it looks really cool. So yeah, so there's all of her abilities are getting changed a little bit. Her whirl, very minor, but you can kind of tell. The fact that they're doing these small improvements, like, it just shows how much they're striving for quality, because this is still the pre-alpha build. So very exciting. And there's a barbarian, and his main attack is getting changed. Or his charge attack. So you can see in the first one there's a big difference. I can tell for this one is that he just kind of like barely goes in midair, and that one he went up much higher, and it was like stopping a split second too. And I don't think this was in before, but his third attack kind of like had him teleport a little bit, and then his sword smash, which just looks really cool. Yeah, you can tell that looks like a speedy boy. Overall, these changes are looking really good for the game. I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future. It's picking up so quickly, and I'll keep you guys updated in the future.